My 28M girlfriend, 48F, gets upset when I talk to or spend time with friends. My girlfriend, despite being almost 20 years older than me, is very insecure and very sensitive when it comes to feeling like she's left out. She moved into my apartment a while ago, and since then she lost her car and her house is being sold, so we share my car and live in my one-bedroom apartment. I've lost a lot of my sense of independence and freedom from sharing my car and my space, and it was only a few months into the relationship she moved in. She essentially gets to take my car to work every day, while I have to coordinate rides to and from work. Needless to say, it's a stressful situation for me. I haven't been able to make plans with friends due to not having access to my own car, so I try to maintain my relationships and friendships over the phone, whether it be texting or FaceTime. The problem is, there is an air of distrust and annoyance when my girlfriend sees me on my phone, regardless of what I might be doing. I could be checking the weather, or the time, and there is still a passive-aggressive response to this. I have never broken her trust, but she says she had bad past relationships. It is to the point that even texting my mom back may trigger my girlfriend to be upset and go to bed without talking to me for the rest of the night, for example. She feels that recalling memories with friends, or reminding my old college buddy about a fun time we had back in college, is synonymous with being unhappy and unfulfilled in the relationship. She gets upset if my friends know things before she does, and I'm not talking about anything important. It could be as unimportant as a new TV show I'm watching, or a funny meme, but if she isn't the first to know, it becomes a fight. I feel like I'm losing my life and myself. I've lost my car, my space, and now it feels like my friends are being pushed aside simply to appease my girlfriend. I just don't know how much longer I can go on like this, putting what I want on the back burner. It worries me because I am not yet 30 and feel like I need this time to solidify, or maintain, my friendships and work on myself. My girlfriend already has a grown son and has had a family, she has friends, she's already experienced her 30s. I don't want to be held back or miss out and make a mistake. I don't want to end up in a place 5, 10, 20 years from now where I have no friends, no connections other than and so. I don't want to set myself up for isolation and regret later in life. I don't want to miss out on my 30s. My girlfriend, despite being almost 20 years older than me, is very insecure and very sensitive when it comes to feeling like she's left out. That is why she is not dating someone her age. What does she bring? My girlfriend, despite being almost 20 years older than me, is very insecure and very sensitive. Lad, this isn't a despite statement. She is with you because of that insecurity. She does not have her shit together at all. Get your life back. Make her put her granny panties back on and get her act together. You don't need her mess. Time to break it off. Please don't continue this relationship. She's a little bit old to be this immature. Have you ever considered that the reason why she's dating someone 2 decades younger than her is because older people won't put up with her BS? She is actively trying to isolate you from all other support you have, and that spells abusive behavior patterns to me. How do I, 26F, talk about bodily consent with my boyfriend, 29M? My boyfriend, 29M, and I, 26F, have been together for 3 years. We're pretty good about consent during sex, we always get verbal consent and it never makes it boring or unsexy. In fact, there's something very sexy about giving control to the other person by asking and vice versa. We've also gotten good at communicating when one of us doesn't want to do anything other than making out or cuddling. What I'm struggling with is just bodily consent. It's not a regular issue, and I'm not generalizing at all. But sometimes I don't want to be touched at my intimate parts, especially boobs or inner thighs. If I'm not expecting to be touched, sometimes my body reacts negatively and I feel uncomfortable. So at times when he spoons me in bed or we just hug and he feels me up my shirt, it makes me uncomfortable. But again, he does this only sometimes, and if I quietly remove his hand or if I verbally tell him to stop, he respects that. I also understand that sometimes that's where the spontaneity comes from. And I do love being spontaneous, but I guess not all the time? It's not a binary rule, and sometimes I do want him to touch me. But sometimes it makes me uncomfortable, IDK if this makes sense. Anyway, so this happened last night and I decided to communicate about it. I told him all this, and I also told him what would make me comfortable, like if he touched me in some of the safer areas first, like my waist or back, or over my shirt, and saw if I welcome it or I'm okay with it. That way he's being spontaneous and I also am not caught off guard and left feeling uncomfortable. He has taken it pretty hard, I think. He told me he understands and he validated my feelings. But he feels rejected because he thinks he's violated me, so now he doesn't know how to come close or touch me. I'm not sure how to talk to him, or how I could have communicated better. I told him it wasn't him, I was just setting a boundary about what I'm comfortable with. But he's pretty upset. How do I deal with this situation? And how could I have handled it better? Too long did not read. I tried having a conversation about what touch is comfortable and uncomfortable, and I've upset my boyfriend. These comments are skipping over the fact you gave him a suggestion how to do it better. I personally feel for you. I get freaked out when suddenly my partner grabs my boobs or somewhere between my legs, but starting at the hip and slowly moving somewhere is a whole less startling. He should know how to touch you since you told him exactly how you'd prefer it. It doesn't sound too hard to do. He may be feeling some kind of rejection, but I really hope he gets over it because it's such a small ask really. Poor guy must not know what to do now. You need a therapist, not a boyfriend. He needs to suck it up and realize that just because you are together doesn't mean he has sexual access to your body whenever he wants. You didn't harshly reject him or anything. You weren't in the mood, and you didn't want it. I wish you the best, but this seems like more than a normal level of concern about things like this. I guess it's good your boyfriend is trying, but you seem to be moving the goalposts. If I were giving advice to him, I'd suggest he find a partner who is less confused and wants physical affection from him. I, 27F, am pregnant. Boyfriend, 26M, wants an abortion. We have been dating for about 2 years now and are in a loving and committed relationship. Found out I am pregnant a couple days ago and he wants me to get an abortion. He's made clear he's not ready financially, mentally, and emotionally. And although I feel like I am somewhat the same, most especially on the financial part, I would classify us as privileged and capable enough to raise a child. I don't think anyone's ever 100% ready for it anyways. He has also voiced out that he would support me in the case that I do decide to keep it, but it feels insincere and I'm pretty sure he's banking on me aborting it with his comments, convincing me that keeping it would be the worst choice, etc. Now, I, of course, would not keep it knowing the father of the child is not 100% supportive. I know that it is my body and my decision at the end of the day, but I don't think I'm able to raise a child on my own without his support, especially coming from a broken family. And keeping it would just most likely cause a dent on our relationship in the long run. It hurts because as much as I am pro-choice, it's not like I was raped or whatever, but it came from an act between two people who love each other and actually see a future together. Maybe I am overthinking it, but sometimes I think he doesn't actually see me in his future and maybe he doesn't love me enough. But I also do respect his feelings and thoughts about it. How would you go about this situation? Would you feel the same? Peace. Not sure if I made everything clear. So feel free to ask any questions or clarifications. Please no mean comments. Things are already hard enough as it is. Even if a child is conceived of love, it doesn't mean both of you are ready to bring a child into the world. Raising a child is expensive. Insurance, cost of daily care, diapers, formula, etc., and mentally it's tiring. Loss of sleep, balancing your own life and more. It sounds like he's telling you he doesn't want to be a father and at best will honor his financial obligations. If you are asking if this will draw you too closer, my guess would be no. My guess is just the opposite, but truly no one knows what will happen. On average, the basic cost of raising just one child in the US is around $20,000 a year. This can go up and down depending on the state you live in. If you don't think you are financially capable to put an extra $20,000 into raising a child, do not have a child. You might think you can't really plan for a child, but if you already don't believe you can financially handle one, you can't financially handle one. Of course it is your body and your choice ultimately. But I think you need to do some more critical thinking and really look at your current situation and see if you can actually raise a child where you're at in life right now. This doesn't have anything to do with whether he loves you or not. He knows he's not ready to be a good, financially responsible and committed father, and he's admitting that to you. And even if you're capable of doing something, it doesn't mean you should. You do what you need to do, but now knowing this, if you go through with having and raising the baby, you should be prepared to do it on your own, and it will be no picnic on your own. Your boyfriend has made his position clear. He is not interested in becoming a parent right now. You then say that if he isn't on board, you wouldn't dream of having it. Well, you clearly are thinking about having it, so that comment is obviously not right. You can have this baby if you want to. What you can't have is his support, other than financially. You will be a single parent with all that entails. It's daunting, but people do it, often very successfully. It's absolutely up to you, but he's told you he's not on board, so don't blame him for not wanting the responsibility of fatherhood. As long as he meets his financial obligations, that's probably the best you can get from him. My 24M, GF, 27 female, received weird texts from her friend, 27 male, which she hid from me. We have been together for 4 years, and recently I accidentally saw messages on her phone which concerned me. I know this was wrong of me, but I've always had a bad feeling and looked through the chat history after seeing a text on her phone from him in the middle of the night. They became closer after pandemic as they bonded over their love for golf, but they had been friends since middle school. They started golfing together after the pandemic, and he made a few inappropriate comments towards her in the chats. The last inappropriate message he sent her was 8 months ago, but she never mentioned anything to me. Anytime something similar has happened to me, I've always shared it with her, as sometimes you want to confide in your partner when someone hurts you. So I'm shocked she had never confided in me about this. She also continued hanging out with him as if nothing happened and never mentioned any of these messages to me where he asks about her libido, favorite positions, and describes his increased libido. Posted on my friend's account as I don't have Reddit. Edit. I confronted her about it and apologized for looking through the messages. She said she was processing it and wanted to deal with it on her own, which I respect. The part that confuses me is that the fact that she kept seeing him without telling me about this while she claimed that she was processing what happened. I found out 8 months after these incidents. You're an idiot that she clearly has wrapped around her finger. Enjoy sharing your shared GF. So just what is she processing? His messages, or you looking at her messages? This alone sounds sketchy as fuck to me. Looks like she found your replacement. She is fucking him. Ask her to stop seeing him completely. Tell her you wouldn't ask it of her normally, but she wanted to meet him enough to hide his advances towards her. Tell her that you are sorry, but even if does you do not know if you can trust her. Tell her that since she hidden this, you now know she can be hiding more things from you. If she refuses, tell her you can't stay, were her, Abid break up.